gonna do a walkthrough of my shop. Just got my hands on a gimbal, so I thought I'd come try it out with a little panning and see how it works. If we start up here in this corner, this is my hardware storage. Socket head cap screws of all sizes, flats, pans, various other nuts, bolts, various other hardware. At the bottom here, there's this rack that's been made to fit these plastic shoe boxes that houses bigger nuts and bolts, and also various other electrical components, pneumatic, air hose fittings, etc., etc., etc. You got to have some place to keep all that stuff. So then we go over here to the tapping machine, and this is once upon a time a small Delta drill press that I converted into a tapping machine. It's got a spring-loaded, actually a little compression extension spindle. It is variable speed. It's got a DC motor, forward and reverse, foot pedal controlled. Works really nice, actually. Does a great job in smaller sizes, and doesn't have a ton of power. I think that's about a 1/4 horse motor on the back. And the bigger pulley is, I found this on eBay. This is off a much larger machine, but it geared this one down, gave me a lot more torque out of that motor. Fit right on, but actually was made for a larger Delta machine. Okay, from there we go to the Bridgeport. I'll step back a little bit. This is an older machine. It's 1958 with the little cheap impact driver for a power drawbar. You can see the E-head, or the shaper head, on the back there. This machine has seen its use, of course. It's seen its wear and tear, but what I did is I replaced the lead screws and nuts in this thing, and I did go to ball screws. I know there's some people that say that's not very good for manual machining, but if you just snug down the locks a little bit, you don't even have to on the axis you're driving by hand. Just snug the other one a little bit, keep it a little snug, and they really don't creep. I don't have a problem with that. And the accuracy is nice, the smoothness is nice. It's got whoops, going the wrong way with the powered gimbal thing there. It's got XY drives, 4-way. Oh, there I go again. It's got a 4-axis DRO. There's an actual reader on the quill. There's another one on the knee, plus the X and the Y. It's a real nice machine. This over here is the power unit for or the control panel for the 3-phase. There's a motor down behind the lathe that this control panel runs to create 3-phase power. Works real good. Drives my machines nice, very nice. I never use more than one at a time, and actually, in typical of 3-phase, everything even smooths out more if you do turn more on. The lathe is a very nice, very interesting piece. It's a 1963 made by Samp. It's an Italian machine. And it's a 12 by 40, but this is one heavy machine. Close to 3,000 pounds, and 5 horsepower motor, four belts driving from the motor to the spindle. Very strong, very powerful, very smooth machine. I put a DRO on this one too, obviously just 2-axis, and I reworked the cross slide, new lead screw in that and a new nut for that. You can, whoops, there I go again. You know, the various quick change tool parts, the tailstock accessories, and very nice machine. I'm real happy with this machine. I was a little bit hesitant about buying it. I found it on Craigslist and I wasn't sure because the guy that I got it from had it sitting in his garage for a couple of years and never even powered it up. So I was taking his word for it that it worked, and sure enough it did and runs fine. So yeah, that's that. I can just kind of peek around the corner. I hope nobody's getting seasick or motion sickness from this thing panning around. I'm not used to this either. You can see I'm right up against the garage door here, and I have this little narrow channel, which I can't work back here without having the door open. But just by horizontal and vertical band saws, a sander, you know, I raise the door up to cut something and then close it back down when I'm ready, when I'm done. Over here, I've got the CNC mill, and there's quite a bit on my channel about this, but this is a shop converted Bolton ZX45. I've started working on this about, I don't know, 2010 or so, and one of these days I plan on finishing it. But it's been in operation for years. I've gotten a lot of use out of it, and really enjoy that a lot. On the back side here, well, as you can see, this is meant to be material storage. There's aluminum on this side, there's steel over on that side, and there's just a lot of junk that's up there too. Can't seem to help it. Everywhere I turn in this shop, I need a place to put something, and so it gets pretty gnarly. This rollaway here is basically the CNC cart. This has the tooling for the CNC, measuring devices down below, etc., tapping, so on and so forth, equipment down below. And so the CNC is running great, making pretty good accurate parts. Get tons of enjoyment out of this machine. Lots and lots of enjoyment out of this machine. Over here I call this my welding department, tongue-in-cheek of course, but because it's not really a department, and also because I'm really not a welder, but I have a lot of fun. This is a Miller 210, the big one, the Miller 210 MIG welder. That's a Diversion 180 TIG welder. Kind of a beginner's machine, but it actually does an alright job. The more I'm learning about using it, the much nicer TIG welding I can do with it. The surface grinder is a Herrig Super 612. Very nice machine. I found this on Craigslist also locally here. Picked it up, and it just that surface grinders are just a lot of fun to mess around with. I'm having a good time with that machine as well. I got a Hypertherm 45 on the floor there, and a little 2-foot brake, piece of junk, cheap thing that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. But the workbench, if I'm going to get anything done on the workbench, I got to at least keep it clear. But obviously, as you can see, the shelves up above it are a complete disaster. So, like the rest, just always looking for a place to put stuff, and so you stuff it in a hole where you can find it, and hope that you can find it the next time you need it. And so we go back from there. This is the tool grinding kind of department. Obviously, tool storage down below, but up on the top of this bench, a drill doctor just for sharpening the run-of-the-mill drill bits. Next to that is a very nice universal grinder. I sharpen the cutters for the Bridgeport shaper head with that. Does a really fine job on those. This is a Champ drill grinder, and it's intended for large drills, both long in length and larger in diameter. And I don't have tons of those, but I do have some, and that'll put a real nice grind on those larger drills. Little buffer polisher and a grinder over there as well. And yeah, so a couple of things I'm really thankful for in my shop here is, whoops, I apologize to you. I'm learning how to use this gimbal. I keep pushing the button the wrong way. I'm very thankful for a sink. It's really nice. There we go. I apologize again. All right. It's a cruddy, dirty looking sink. The wall behind it's a mess, but it's really great having a sink in the shop. When I need to top off the coolant tank on the CNC, when I'm washing up after a dirty job, etc., etc., etc. That thing is used constantly. The other thing I'm thankful for, I live in Arizona. It's hot, and this is a two-car garage, which in general speaking, garages are not very comfortable. But this one happens to be entirely insulated, the walls and the ceiling, the attic space. And so that little wall unit will keep it 75 degrees in here, no problem. If I'm working with the garage door open, of course, it'll warm up a little bit, but as soon as I shut everything down again, it cools right off. That thing does a fantastic job. More tool storage here, of course. I've got, you know, again, more measuring tools, lathe tools, mill tools, and all the stuff you need in a little machine shop. I've got some more storage here. This is an interesting cabinet here. I think it was made as a filing cabinet, but it's extremely heavy. The drawers are very, very deep and glide effortlessly, and I use it for a tool cabinet. A few clamps, and I love these little magnetic bowls for holding parts and bolts and what have you when I'm working on a project, so I keep those handy. I do have one more little welder, another little Miller 135. That's a 110 volt welder. I use it strictly for flux core welding, and that one goes with me anywhere I need to travel because it's just 110 volts, so I can plug it in pretty much anywhere. So anyways, that's my shop. Not very glamorous, certainly pretty small. I'd love to have a whole lot more space than I have, be able to spread some things out. But yeah, this gives me a great place to pursue hobbies and get a little work done, help out a friend here and there. Really don't make any money to speak of out here. I spend quite a bit, but don't make much. But that's typical of a hobby shop. So anyways, thanks for watching, and adios.